What's up, everybody? Isaac here, Civil Engineering Academy. Excited to be with you on another awesome podcast today. I bring a special guest on today. His name's Muhammad Abrar. He works for one of the top 10 companies in the world working on some awesome stuff in Dubai, including the world's largest water park. So I wanted to bring him on. He's super active on LinkedIn, has a huge following on there too as he talks about structural topics, and just wanted to have him come on and describe what he's up to, the things he's working on, the challenges that he's faced, what advice he would have for other engineers that are just starting into this journey, and just kind of picking his brain with all of this information. So if you have any interest in learning about working in Dubai, learning about how to become a better engineer, how to become a better civil engineer in this world, then I think you're going to really enjoy this episode. So without further ado, let's get right to it. My interview with Muhammad, who's building the world's biggest water park in Dubai. It's going to be a good one. See you in a minute. All right, Muhammad, we are live, so we're rocking and rolling. Thank you for joining me today on the Civil Engineering Academy podcast. I appreciate you doing this with me.
All right. Thank you so much, Isaac, for having me and for the invite.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you. You're working on some interesting things, and just wanted to touch base and get your thoughts on some things you're dealing with. But I always love to start these podcasts out getting your own background, how you found yourself into engineering. So could you tell us a little bit about your background and how you ended up in this field?
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so you might have seen Prison Break season. I mean Michael Scofield. From there, I got my interest developed, and even before I had few engineers in my family that had already hooked my attention towards civil engineering. And I usually love problem solving and was always curious how the structures stand tall, and how people can engineer such a super amazing structures. So that was a question in my mind, and definitely I was very good at maths. And then later when I started working as a design engineer, I found that interesting. So yeah, that's how I got into the structures.
Wow. So where are you right now working on everything you're working on?
I'm based in Dubai now, and I'm working here for one of the multinational companies. And most of the projects are super big projects, and they range from buildings or concrete buildings or steel structures to the water parks and etc. The stadiums as well.
Awesome. Well, is there a pivotal moment in your own career that influenced your approach to how you address structural engineering?
Yeah, computational design had a lot of influence on my approach, and even on many engineers around the world. Clients are always in a rush, and they don't even give enough time to get things done. So we being an engineer, I have to come with the even fast, swift, and obviously authentic approach. And computational design is the way to automate the boring parts of the design.
That's really neat. So, I guess if you're addressing complex challenges, how do you go about doing that when they come your way?
Yeah, no, that's a very nice question. So first, I believe defining a problem, and second, breaking down into a small, tiny task is my approach. Just take an example of a 3D dress. It's very hard to solve a whole 3D dress as a whole. But if we just divide it into a number of 2D dresses and solve them separately and then combine them back, it's way more easier to get to the solution. And yeah, so that's my approach. And when I'm telling this, I'm just recalling a very nice example from my recent project where I was busy working on a 44-story tall mountain in the Middle East. It was a part of the project that I recently worked on. And we were finding it very laborious to generate, for example, a single PDF out of it. And since it was taking 5 hours to generate, a single sheet, then we had to come up with a new idea, and we used Rhino to get all the sectional profiles instead of all the whole full mountain, and then it became so lighter to just get a print off in 3-4 minutes. So it was
That's interesting.
yeah.
Has there been I'm just curious, but has there been a favorite project that has come across your desk before, or that you're working on?
The current project is my favorite. It's gonna be the world's biggest water park upon completion. So,
Wow.
so yeah, that's of my definite interest.
Are you gonna go use it? That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
definitely. Yeah,
Well, that's
it's
great.
here in the Middle East. So yeah, I'm just waiting when it would be complete, and I'll definitely go to each part of that.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Wow. So it sounds like you're working on some amazing things, some big stuff. Is there some advice you would give to younger engineers that are just starting this journey? Like, how did you get to where you're at? What advice would you give to a younger person to make some steps in civil engineering?
I would say continuous learning. It's very, very necessary. Stay updated with the latest trends in the industry, softwares, and very important is the technology. Technology is changing a lot. We are using multiple softwares to get the things done as soon as possible, as quickly, as swiftly. Second thing I can say is mentorship. Find mentors and learn from their experience and guidance. It's a bit quicker. Network around the society, join professional organizations, attend industry events, and then soft skills, develop communication skills, teamwork, and problem solving are very important. And yeah, certifications are also very, very important. If you are recognized from some authority, it's also very good.
Well, that is good. So, in terms of that, did you have to get professional licensing where you are, and what is that? What was the process for you? I'm just curious.
Yeah, for here, if you talk about, obviously it varies from around different states or the countries. But here in Dubai, it goes like you have to get the license from the Dubai municipality, and they give 3 different licenses: DM+1, DM+4, DM+12. So, and those licenses go around with the number of years of experience. So yeah, that's how it goes.
And are they administered with like exams, or is it based on experience, or both?
Yes. Experience is also necessary for to appear in the exam, and then to get the license, you cannot pass. You cannot get the license with only experience or only passing the exam.
Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting. You know, I'm in the United States. We have to get our PE license, which usually is composed of an exam and some experience as well. So it's always fun to hear what others are doing in other parts of the world. So that's fascinating.
Yeah, I heard it's a long exam. It must be difficult as well.
It's a long exam.
Yeah.
What if somebody moved from the U.S. and went and worked in Dubai? Would that license be recognized, or would they have to go through the process to get licensing over there too?
And I think it will they will still need to get the license, but the license from the Dubai municipality as well. But it would be quick enough, because when you are having a P license, obviously it takes time, it takes experience to get that license. And then when you will come here, they will recognize the experience from that country. So that also goes around. Obviously, I believe a person who has cleared PE can definitely clear the DM exam.
Okay. I was curious if, people wanted to go out there and work, how that might work. So one of the challenge I think with any structural industry or building or anything is materials. We're seeing longer lead times on materials. How have you approached advising clients about materials or issues or anything along those lines?
Mhm. Um, there are so many things. I believe understanding the client's vision, budgets, priorities, and stuff like that. Uh, these all depends on that approach. But we usually recommend materials based on the durability, cost effectiveness, and the sustainability is also a hot topic. So we also have to cater that. Uh, then they need to ensure the compliance with all the safety in the building codes. It's a definite thing. And during this all process, I believe communication is a key here, particularly when laying out the building, and where 3D visual models come handy to explain all the technical concepts. Um, and we believe that once the all information is communicated to the contractors, feedback from them is also very important. And we expect that they should write back to us what they understood, or they can raise an RFI if there is any confusion.
That makes sense. I want to say that it feels like with BIM modeling, that customers can really see the value of what you're bringing to the table in a much easier manner versus just describing it to them.
Exactly.
Is that the case that you've seen?
Yeah, exactly. 3D models, like what I said in a very recent project of mine, which was a water theming park, and that I mentioned, it's gonna be the world's biggest water park upon completion. So in that project, coordination was a key. We used to regularly catch up with the architects, MEP engineers, and the contractors. Actually, many companies were also involved in that, and their BIM 360 saved us during the all phases of the project, and it has really helped us resolve the conflicts right in the design process before it was issued for the construction.
That's fantastic. If you could predict the future a little bit, where do you see the future of BIM modeling going? Or have we kind of already reached that? But what are your thoughts on that?
BIM is not so simple. It's a vast field. For us, I mean, it's a streamline to collaborate across all the disciplines, and it's a definite part of our design process. The future if you talk about the future, if improved 3D visualization for the better understanding, and obviously reduced errors and the rework that leads to cost, and obviously we can save the time as well, and the data management for the maintenance and the life cycle management, and definitely it's an innovation. It allows us to it enables us for more innovative design solutions, and then the optimization. So yeah, we are literally excited for it.
Yeah, I think it's a great tool. I really could see how people want to see it more in the use of all design aspects of their project. And you mentioned maintenance, for data management. How are people using? I'm just curious, but how are people using this BIM model for future maintenance? Is it that they're able to go see certain aspects of the model or see how things change over time? Or what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So for example, if after 5 years, client want to change the purpose of this floor of the fifth floor of the building, but if they don't have a BIM model, they cannot easily get all the direct right information within the all that's all covered within the finishes. There are the ceilings, there are the couple of temporary walls and wooden walls, or etc. So you cannot find all the structural columns, beams, and the stuff. But if you have a BIM model, you can definitely go around the BIM model. You can quickly spot the location of all structural main members that doesn't need to be compromised. So if we have all that data, we can quickly get the right information and we can execute our next plan.
Got it. Well, and earlier you mentioned developing soft skills. So as an engineer, you have to balance this technical aspect of continual learning and also soft skills. I'm curious how you manage that. And have you noticed that as you move, I guess, higher in a company, that you're using more soft skills or people skills? What's your thoughts around that?
Yeah, definitely. Soft skills always comes in handy. I believe communication is very very necessary. If we talk about that in terms of the clients, clients are paying us, and I have seen that they get a very good clarity from the 3D visuals that are in our hands. They can't understand the FC prime, for example. Uh, they understand the relatable terms. So I believe if we talk about them is actively listening their concerns, addressing them empathetically is also very important. And I believe after all the discussions, providing a detailed report, summaries, discussion, and to document it is also very necessary. So I believe that that's all a different part of the from the technical parts. And yeah, soft skills always comes handy to our process.
That's interesting. Throughout your career, I'm sure networking has been a big part of it, but what would you say is the benefits of networking, or what tips would you give for engineers to network?
Exactly. I was actually waiting for this question from your side. And as you know, I love to network around with the people, and particularly obviously the engineers from around the world. Networking has a lot of influence on where and what I am today. I found that the only thing one need is the questions, that curiosity, and obviously the genuine and the right questions I'm talking about. Then there are the people who are always ready to help you. It's simple. They want to share their knowledge with the ones who are thirsty of that. So with this mindset, I joined many professional societies and had the organizations which had helped me network at the early stage, and even till now, after even getting the more than 20,000 followers on LinkedIn. So conferences, seminars are the hub for networking. I leveraged LinkedIn for the professional connections and industrial insights. And I myself share structural content on LinkedIn, which I'm doing for the last 2 years, and I literally enjoy that.
Yeah, you're very active on LinkedIn. I think that's a great tool to use especially for engineers to network.
Yeah.
So
yes, exactly. Yeah.
Do you have any tips around LinkedIn for engineers that are on it?
Yeah, I believe if you just talk about in terms of right LinkedIn, how to use, how to engage with the information, there are a couple of engineers around on the LinkedIn from the different parts of the world who share the content related to the structures. I think people should engage with them, comment, like, and ask questions. It's not all about everybody doesn't know everything. It's all the part of the process. So always ask question. If you didn't understand, just write a question, and obviously they'll get some time and definitely will answer. That's how I used to do from Monday to Friday. I get a lot of questions, but then I get some time on the weekend, so I do answer their questions, but I definitely always answer the questions which are right and that does make sense. I love to write back to them.
That's fantastic. Do you see the role of a structural engineer changing or evolving in the future? I know we always hear about new tools, AI is coming, but as a structural engineer, how do you see where that's headed?
Yeah. technology is changing, and so does the engineers should change. And when you talk about the structural engineers, obviously these are the key engineers in the society. Sustainability is a major thing, is definitely a whole topic in the society, where we are having an increased focus on the sustainable and eco-friendly designs, and then there comes the greater reliance on the artificial intelligence and the automation through the Rhino and the Grasshopper, uh, uh, where the companies are still struggling and to get their engineers pro and in the automation. Um, and I believe multidisciplinary collaboration is very important, and that will take the lead when more integrated roles within the engineering disciplines will appear. And obviously, then the AI will also be the part of the process. So, yeah, I believe it's gonna be interesting. But I do have a thought that um companies will not only be looking for only structural engineers. They will always be looking for the engineers who are also good at BIM, who are also good at the automation, and who have as an idea of the artificial intelligence. So the engineers in the future would not only be the structural engineers; they'll be the combination of all the disciplines.
That definitely makes sense. I think it's an exciting time to be an engineer. There's a ton of advancements that are happening, and I agree with you. You almost have to be this well-rounded engineer to be more marketable, but that's kind of where we're headed as a
Yes,
structural
yes.
engineers in the future.
Yes, exactly. Even if I talk about the engineers here in the Middle East right now, companies are going through this process now. If you just compare quickly through the with the companies, for example, in the Europe, they are a bit advanced in the computations. It's just because the universities are teaching them the computations, and here you can find the computation. So we actually bringing people from there to here to work with us and help us in our design process, because I believe in the US where you are sitting, the deadlines might be a bit relaxed. I'm not sure though. It might be tight, but I believe here the deadlines are way more tighter than those would be in the US. So obviously the computation stuff, we need to automate the boring parts of the design. It's very very necessary here. So companies are really thirsty of those people who are very good at design, automation, BIM.
Wow. It's tough to juggle all of that, and it requires a lot of
Yeah,
collaboration. So, but yes, it's an interesting future.
yeah, and it does require a lot of time as well, because an engineer it has to go through the all process licensing and all the stuff. And it takes time, and then he has to master the BIM as well. It will take time, and then the third street is the automation. It will take time, and then when you have all the skills, then you need to combine that all. So yeah, it's not so simple, but it's very very necessary, and it's where the future of the structural engineer is going.
Got it. Well, maybe at the end here, could you give us a little bit of a glimpse of this massive water park that you're designing? Like, what are some of the fun things that are going in there?
Yeah, it's not like a usual water park. Currently the title holder is the Atlantis Water Park, which is just right behind the building where I'm currently sitting. It's there. They are the scariest slides and the biggest slides in the world. But these are all constructed within the frame structured buildings. For example, 8 or 10-story building, and they're from the 10th story of the building that a slide is going through the all rotations and going out. But the one we are busy with right now, it has all the mountains, and the biggest mountain is a 44-story mountain, not 10-story. So just imagine a person sliding from the 44th story of the mountain and going through all the haphazard shapes and then the bubblings of all, and then coming out. What would be his or her condition? So even those mountains are just not simple. You can find plenty of good pictures on the internet about that water theming park. And all of the mountains and the areas are named after some animals. Like the biggest, tallest mountain, which is 44 stories, is known as the Camel Rock, because a face of and a neck of camel is coming out of the mountain. Mm-hmm. There are some other shapes of the animals as well, and there is another zone within the that theming park where three big faces of the fox are coming out, and they're just, some are smiling, some are just looking, staring at the people who are just surfing around the park. So yeah, there are a very cool visuals within the project. So that's really very interesting.
Sounds fascinating. I'm also curious, like, have you had any, like, what's been the biggest challenge in making this happen, to design it? You had any challenges?
Yeah, exactly. So the rock work is always changing. It's definitely not natural, and we have to bring out the slides out of the mountain, and that 44-story big tall mountain is constructed through the steel structures, and there are other concrete elements within the steel structures as well to access those slides, and the attractions within the that tall mountain. Like no client want to construct the whole 44-story mountain for just few slides. So obviously there are the attractions inside as well, and this all supported throughout the steel structure. So yeah, I saw a very unique steel connections out there within the mountain, just because it cannot be a regular steel connection, because there are so many slides going around and they're changing, and then we need to support the slides as well through that structure, and then the mountain as well. So it was a bit complex, and then we're talking about only steel structure right now. There are the MEP functionalities as well, their models and all. So BIM, as I mentioned before, BIM 360 really helped us a lot and saved us from many clashes right within the design process before it goes for the construction, and then a lot of the RFIs. So it was a unique part of the.
And I imagine there's just a ton of water that's going to be used for this part.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Where is that coming from? We pump it?
I haven't even thought about it. I was so busy in the design.
I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be
a lot of water.
Nice, and how they'll process this water, and it's all sustainable as well. So yeah, that's a nice question. I'll definitely look around it.
Look that one up. Do a LinkedIn post on that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's a thought-provoking question for me as well.
Muhammad, thank you for sharing your insights with us on your journey to becoming a structural engineer, and what other people can do if they're finding themselves in this journey to becoming civil engineer, specifically structural. But if anyone wanted to connect with you on any questions, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is there. You can attach a link of my LinkedIn. I am quite active on LinkedIn, as you know, and I do respond to their questions. And yeah, they can reach out to me as well anytime.
Okay, sounds great. Well, good luck on your adventures. Sounds like you're doing some amazing things doing this.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for you as well, for having me to your podcast, and I literally enjoyed chatting with you, and yeah, I look forward to chatting with you again.
Okay, we'll talk to you later. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Bye.